It's a wonderful baby you have.
Temperament is one interest of childhood observer Jerome Kagan.
Absolutely no motor tension at all.
The fact that we're finding differences among infants and children will come as no surprise to anybody. Remember the old rhyme, Monday's child is fair of face, Wednesday's child is full of woe. What we are discovering, which is relatively new, is that there is a large set of temperamental categories. We don't know how many scientists will eventually discover. We happen to be focusing on 2 of them.
What is most surprising and very gratifying to all of us is that we're able to predict those 2 types of children from a very simple behavior when that child is 4 months old.
Kagan says certain reactions in 4-month-olds foreshadow future shyness or sociability.
So the vocalization reflects that the child's becoming increasingly excited by the moments.
Kagan thinks Robbie, average, not likely to be very outgoing or very shy. But Jordan's reaction to the same stimulus is very different.
You see the motor activity of the arms and the legs. So you'll notice as Jordan looks at the mobiles, you see how his legs begin to thrash and flex and his arms begin to move because he is becoming excited to the visual stimulation.
These responses indicate just the opposite of what one might expect. But Kagan and colleagues have found a remarkable consistency.
That he's past his threshold. Okay, I would stop now.
A child like Jordan, who reacts at 4 months with extreme distress, represents the kind of child who later may become very quiet.
And it's that pattern of that motor tension, the thrashing of the arms and legs, and then the irritability. It's that pattern that tends to be characteristic of a temperament that later on is a little bit biased to become a shy, timid, restrained child when that child is 1 or 2 years of age. Some parents who have very shy, fearful children often misinterpret that behavior and assume it's because they did something wrong. They went on a vacation at the wrong time, they punished when they should not have punished, when, in fact, this child was born with that neurochemistry that made it likely to behave in this way.
In contrast, a child like Katrina, who's quiet in the extreme, is exhibiting behavior that may mean she'll be more outgoing later.
Here's a little bit of arm movement. Now you want to notice the lack of tension in her legs, in her arms. You see how relaxed that hand is? That's a very nice contrast, very nice contrast. When we see Katrina at 14 months, if she's like the other 300 infants we've seen, then you're going to see a sociable, emotionally spontaneous, non-fearful, outgoing 1-year-old. Right? Now we'll see if I'm right. We're going to see you at 14 months, and we're going to see if my prediction is correct. Katrina, don't make a liar out of me, huh? Don't make a liar out of me.
My colleague Nathan Fox has related different brain patterns to different temperaments. Electrodes in the cap measure the child's brain activity, recorded as distinctive patterns. As in our studies, the child is then exposed to some everyday stimulus. The printouts measure the electrical activity of the left and right sides of the brain. Amazingly, very shy infants show greater activity in one hemisphere. Very outgoing infants show greater activity in the other hemisphere. In average children, both sides of the brain show the same balanced pattern of electrical activity, which I think is based on an underlying chemistry and physiology.
Now, even though that chemistry is inherited, our fate is not in our genes. Biology is not our destiny.
I think we should stop for a little bit.
Yeah.
Kagan believes a child's future is not shaped by temperament alone, but rather by how parents and others respond to the child's genetic inheritance.
There is a wonderful and permanent interaction between what is the biology of the child and that child's environment. There's no need for parents or teachers to be fatalistic about temperamental categories.